Hey guys, it's Miss Jackson. I'm here to help with problems that deal with graphing negative and positive fractions, integers, and decimals on a number line. So first we want to rewrite all the fractions as decimals. So all our numbers will either be integers or decimals. And to do that, we divide the numerator by the denominator. If we have a mixed number, we still do the same thing, but we add the whole number to whatever decimal we got. Then we're going to draw the number line with increments of either 1/10 or 1/2. Now the reason for that is, let's say here we have our number line. Here we have 0 and let's say 1. Increments of 1/10 would be, we would draw 10 little marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoops, that wasn't very accurate, but 10 little marks, so we know this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, and so on and so forth. So it's easier to find the mark. Or 1/2, which would be, let's say we have -1, this would be -1/2, and we could use that as a guiding point. That's basically to help us graph more accurately our points. Then we're going to graph the numbers, and remember the numbers we're graphing is the distance from 0 in the positive or negative direction. Let's look back up here. If we have -1, the distance from -1 to 0 is 1 in the negative direction. If we have +1, it's 1 in the positive direction. So let's go ahead and try these examples. We have -2.5, 1/2, -0.7, 2 2/5, and -1 1/4. So see if you could rewrite all these numbers as decimals. When you're ready, click continue. Alright, welcome back. So we have -0.25, that stays the same. 1 1/2 is the same as 1 plus 1/2. And 1 divided by 2, the numerator divided by the denominator, gives us 0.5. So we have 1.5. -0.7. 2 plus 2/5, 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. And -1 and 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So these are the numbers you should have gotten. And now we can go ahead and graph. When we graph, let's make sure we write the original numbers on our number line. Alright, let's start with the positive numbers. Those are easier. Here we have a positive and a positive. Alright, so what I'm going to do in this number line is I'm just going to put little ticks at the half mark. So basically here we have -1/2, -1 1/2, we have 1/2, 1 1/2, 2 1/2, and so on and so forth. Alright, so 2.4. Now 2.4, I'm just guessing here, is about 2. Here we have 2.5, since 2 1/2 is 2.5, so it's a little bit less. It's right here. And let's write 2 2/5. And then 1.5, well, that's 1 1/2, and that's what we had anyways, 1 1/2. Alright, now we're going to graph the negative numbers. So here we have our 3 negative numbers. Now we're looking at the distance from 0 to -2.5. So we're going to go 2.5 to the left. Now don't get confused. This point right here is not 2.5. This is 1.5. So we're going in the opposite direction. It's like looking in a mirror. -0.7. Well, it's not quite -1, and it's greater than -0.5. This is -0.5 right here. So let's say it's about right here. We have -0.7. And finally, -1 1/4 or 1.25. We're going 1, and then it's halfway between -1.5 and 1. I'm sorry, and -1. So it's right here at -1.25. So if we had the little ticks for every 10th, we could graph it more accurately, but this was just a sketch. So I hope this helps you with graphing positive and negative numbers, and good luck.